Okay, and we are live again today, ladies and gentlemen. Big welcome to the stream. So we've been covering, it's been 2 weeks now since we started uncovering all of the scandals in terms of US aid. We've now started looking at, or DOGE is looking at all of these other government departments and finding all of this wastage and fraud and everything else. And thank you to those of you who have started to uncover a lot of the politicians I mentioned. So there's a lot of investigations, citizen-led investigations going on right now into a number of these people, how they've accumulated hundreds of millions, some of them on a $200,000 salary. We're about to find out very shortly. So today we're going to go over even more of the craziness that is being exposed on a day-by-day basis. It is somewhat unbelievable. So let me get you started with the first thing I want to show you then. So this came out overnight here. Here we go.
Discovered $2.7 trillion in improper payments to Medicare, Medicaid, overseas, to people who should not have gotten it. Some of this room might have missed that press conference. Can you elaborate on what the president is thinking at this?
So this is what it was, and $2.7 trillion in Medicare and Medicaid money went overseas to people who were not eligible to receive it. We've also got as well huge sums of money going to people who are over 150 years old.
Well, again, that's another example. There's a very long list of the fraud, waste, and abuse that DOGE is identifying on a daily basis. Elon Musk also talked about yesterday about Social Security payments that are going out the door for people who are no longer with us, unfortunately. I would say that is certainly fraud. There's also a lot of contracts they've identified that, just as a hypothetical example, are $1 million, but only 500,000 went out the door. So
yeah, so this is what we're going to start looking into, where all of this money is going to. So they're uncovering huge amounts of fraud, and it's obvious that these are people within the organizations who, and we'll come on to the limestone mine in a second, and also Slovakia, we've got Greece, we've got a lot of trouble this is causing because of the NGOs and the influence on different countries. So we're going to get into all of this today. Next thing then, this was a big, okay, this was a 33, I'm going to play you this video. I'm just going to play it here. $33 million grant. This was an equity assistance center. I want to just play you the first part of this. So listen to this.
Today's virtual roundtable is entitled Identifying and Disrupting Your Whiteness, a workshop addressing power and privilege toward anti-racist spaces.
Not offended at all by that, being white at all, but it goes on, is a big, presentation on being white and all this other stuff. It's unbelievable. So they were getting $33 million, $33 million to teach people like me how to identify my supremacy and all this other stuff. So I'm so glad they're starting to cut all of this out. It goes on and on. Okay, the Pentagon then, we're going to get into more departments as the days go by, so just make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. But the Pentagon one then, burning taxpayer cash, $1,300 per coffee cup. This is and also an 8,000% markup on soap dispensers has been identified. Now, I just want to say what I think is going on there. I don't necessarily think that aspect is fraud. A lot of the others I think is fraud. But the Pentagon one, which they're starting to audit now, I think that money is being used for dark projects, should we say, black projects, black ops type stuff. Stuff they don't want people to know about. That's where I think that money is going to. So actually uncovering all, these sort of things on coffee cups and everything else. Yeah, is it fraud? Yeah, it is to the taxpayer, but I think they're probably using those funds for other projects. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, next one then, US Department of Education. They have identified here $4.6 million contract to coordinate Zoom meetings. Yes, they needed coordinators to coordinate Zoom meetings. $4.6 million went out to consultants for this. $3 million went out. This was a contract, $3 million contract, to write a report that showed that prior reports were not utilized by schools. So they spent $3 million on a contract to show that the other contracts they'd produced for way more in millions of dollars were not even used by schools. Okay. $1.4 million contract to physically observe mailing and clerical operations. Honestly, these go on and on and on. These are all the things they're identifying. They've just terminated as well a contract for $101 million. This is also in the Department of Education. This was 29 DEI training grants. These have been terminated now. This was to help students oversee oppression in white students, areas of privilege and power. So another one that has gone. It's ironic how they say all this stuff was to stop racism, and actually, I would say it's causing it. If you look at these projects, it's crazy. Another one then I found here. Let me show you this one. So this has been terminated as well. This was $2.3 billion on this contract. Another one, hold on, this was support equity assessment of existing program policies of ACF. So we've had these just been terminated as well. $115 million here. These go on and on and on. All of these contracts I've been looking up. Here's a good one. Are you ready for this one? This was a rapper in Gaza.
For instance, I uncovered over $3 million to a rap artist in Gaza producing anti-Israel, anti-Semitic songs.
$3 million. These go on and on. Did you know that there was actually funding for a Fauci museum exhibit as well? They've cancelled Department of Health and Human Services. $180 million in contracts have been cancelled now. Who needs a Fauci museum exhibit is the question. Now, I wanted to show you these letters. In fact, and I want to show you these letters as well that have come out. So this is from, I think this is from FICO. No, this was the Greek politician, actually. This was the European Parliament. So he's now requesting that, I'll just go through this. Dear Mr. Musk, we have taken notice of your post on X concerning improper use and corruption on funds of the US Federal Emergency Management Agency. This was FEMA, that were wasted on luxury hotels for illegal migrants. We now want this, formally requesting them any instances of NGOs, you can see here, NGOs misallocated funding intended to assist illegal migrants in Greece. So they're saying that this is they're very concerned about this, violations, corrective actions. They want to start looking into all this. Now, that was Greece. We also had one that came out of, okay, this was Slovakia then. This was the... this was they write their letters different. Okay, it's not signed off the way I thought. But he's basically it's from FICO. He's saying, dear Mr. Musk, congratulations on your appointment and what you're taking. The announced closure of US aid affects the internal affairs of the Slovak Republic. It is undeniable that funds originating from US aid were also used for political purposes in Slovakia in order to distort the political system and favor specified political parties. In order to be able to separate useful and beneficial projects from gross interference in the internal affairs of Slovak Republic, I consider it prudent to approach you with a request to provide information available on subsidies and grants that went to NGOs, media outlets, and journalists who are operating within the country. So he's very concerned. A lot of leaders are starting to put letters together now. They're very concerned of what is happening. Now, the next thing I wanted to say, firstly, I know it's Valentine's Day, so congratulations, Valentine's Day today. People last time said about a flash sale, so I'm doing a 1 day. It's been Black Friday since I did a flash sale on all of my programs. So I know a lot of you say, Neil, they're so expensive. They are really detailed and they will give you the benefits and results you want, but I know they are expensive. They are finance courses, very, very detailed. You won't find more detailed, actually. So I'm doing a flash sale, 90% off, 24 hours. The link is below in the description for any program that you want to get, or even if you want to get your partner a program, then that would be a great Valentine's Day gift. Secondly, if you haven't joined the newsletter, it's coming out today as well. Newsletter is coming out today. When I launch the new programs in the spring, you will be the first ones to get that, and you'll get a discount on the new programs coming out this spring. So just make sure you are part of the newsletter. It is really, really good. Now then, I was reading into, if you've seen the DOGE employee that was cancelled, basically, he's about to be rehired. But what I did was I wanted to look at something that no one else had really looked at. And this is how it all started. So it was a reporter, a journalist called Catherine Long. Now, this is interesting. So I started looking into this Catherine Long because she did this request. In fact, let me, just so you're not reading while I'm talking there, I'm going to read this out to you, this request by Catherine Long, okay? I'm a journalist for Business Insider. I'm on a reporting quest, and I believe you may be able to help me. So they wrote this to this farm shop because she wanted to identify one of the DOGE team. I've been interested for some time in an influential blogger named Raw Egg Nationalist. Though he's from the UK, he is increasingly prominent in the US. He has affiliations with, she mentions all these people. She talks about Fox News. I'll show you her affiliation in a second. She talks about, it's really weird, all this stuff, talks about his thesis with raw eggs and raw milk, and his nationalistic and traditional values, these dangerous traditional values, dangerous, hey. She says, I'm emailing you because based on the photos he's posted on social media, I believe he does much of his grocery shopping, or at least he does at some point at their farm. Do you or any of your staff know of a man who regularly buys large quantities of eggs and milk? And by large, I mean dozens a week, and he eats more than 10 raw eggs a day. If so, I'd be grateful if you could pass along his name. I'm happy to keep our conversation confidential. Okay, did she keep it confidential? No, she did not. So this is what happened then. I started looking up her, and she's with the Wall Street Journal. Now, it just says she's a reporter at the Wall Street Journal on the investigations team. I sometimes wonder if these people actually exist. So if you look on the left here, it says Catherine Long. I looked her up, couldn't find her anywhere, right? So then I start looking her up on Facebook. Oh, there's a picture of a woman with a dog, which you can't even see her face. I start looking her up on X. These posts are protected, same thing. I really do wonder if these people really exist. Looked her up, has she done interviews on YouTube, anything like that? There's nothing for her here. Apparently she does exist. This is her LinkedIn profile. No picture again. I really do wonder sometimes. I have found a picture of her, but I really do wonder if these people exist. So they really tried hard. They got this worker fired because of his nationalistic viewpoint. But now Elon's posted that he's going to be brought back. He said to err is human, to forgive divine, and a lot of people are saying, that they welcome him back, etc. But I just do wonder. I really do wonder if sometimes these journalists actually exist, especially when you read some of their writings, and it looks like it's been written by AI. I don't know what you think, but a lot of it is. And it makes me think, are we going to see a lot more of this? We already know that they've been weaponizing the media via funding from taxpayers. This is proven now. It's not even a conspiracy theory, as someone said in the comments yesterday or the other day. It's not even that. It's fact. Everyone knows. It's being put out everywhere. And this is why I think we're going to see a big shift as well. I think we're going to see a big shift now in how things are done in the US, and what happens in the US affects other countries. So I think this is going to start to affect other countries now. They'll probably start dropping some of these policies. We already know things around Ukraine-Russia conflict. That is no doubt going to end soon. And also, another thing, if you get the newsletter today, I'm going to give you access to a report that I wrote, and it's all on the global risks over the next year. I think you'll find that report very, very interesting. I spent a lot of time on that report. And when I say a lot of time, you're talking combined, it's probably 30 to 40 hours went into writing the report. So you can see all the global risks and what I think is going to change and what we're going into. So I don't usually give away the reports for free. It's premium content, but you can get that when you get started with the newsletter. Now, a couple of other things there. They are talking about already getting rid of 75,000 workers. These are federal workers, which they think are not efficient. They've accepted the offers to resign, and they'll be paid through to September. So it's a massive amount of pay that they will receive, but they think overall it's going to benefit. They found more than 1.5 trillion in spending cuts already. This is huge, 1.5 trillion. It's going through the Senate at the moment. We expect it to be approved. Trump is demanding radical left Reuters return a $9 million government contract. So this is another big story that's coming out. We're now finding out. And again, this isn't a surprise, because if you remember when I went through all the media that were saying the same keywords, constitutional crisis, yeah, they're all the same media. There's no shocks. I haven't been shocked by any of these that have come out. One thing that did surprise me, though, was this one. Hold on, let's play the clip here.
Of the difficulty of U.S. government workers retiring, like the maximum retirement rate is $10,000 a month, and the reason for that is because the retirement is entirely paperwork right now. It's manually calculated paperwork that's put in an envelope and then taken down a mine shaft and stored in a mine. And then one of the things that affects the rate at which.
Anyway, Elon, he talks very slow, but the point he's making is, I just couldn't believe this story. I had to look this up because I thought it can't be true. They have it's a mine shaft with a lift that is as slow as you would expect, and that's why they can't retire people properly. It takes months because they ride around on bicycles with these little carts on the back, and it's all paper. It's all done in manila envelopes and cardboard boxes, and that's why it takes. They've got 700 staff. He says it could be done with around 20 staff, but they got 700. I mean, it's unbelievable. But the one thing I thought was very interesting today was the next one they're going to audit. Here we go. The Federal Reserve may get an audit. Now, everyone's been going crazy saying they can't audit it. Or a lot of people are coming out, a lot of politicians are coming out saying they can't audit it. It's not allowed. Well, we know why. Now, a lot of time people always say that it's independent. So this is what the politicians are saying. You can't audit it. It's independent. Actually, it's not fully independent. There's a few other things. It's considered independent within the government. It's not independent in the government because it's subject to oversight by Congress. Now, this is the key thing. It was created by Congress in 1913. They can audit it. Yes, there's private shareholders. We know this. It's pretty crazy and unbelievable how it's done. But it can be audited, and they're just going through now with the court system because there's so many blocks on auditing it. They do not want this thing audited at all. They're doing everything they possibly can to make sure that it does not get audited. That is the absolute last thing that they want at the moment. I hope you are subscribed. If you're not already, you can do that. And just a reminder on the 24-hour flash sale here, get your partner if it isn't of interest to you. But there's a lot of programs here. You can get your partner a program for Valentine's Day. It will end in exactly 24 hours, so you can have a look through the different programs. All right, thanks for being online today. Take care. God bless you. God bless your families. I'll see you next time.